This is Napoleon Total War, leveling up units using rebellions as the catalyst to go up in levels. As you can tell from watching the previous videos, it's very, very difficult. The designers of the game basically made it impossible to level up an army to its maximum, or even specific units to their maximum is virtually impossible, if not totally impossible. But we're going to give it a try, trying to level up different armies here, just so that you can see if it's possible at all. You're not going to see any major surprises in this video. It's just basically the slow progression up the chain. Here the Russians have, after I've sacked Moscow, they're trying to siege me and take out my province in basically Novgorod. My one army against their army is probably not going to be enough. I'm going to bring another army down from St. Petersburg to assist in this fight, which I'll auto-resolve. And basically it'll be a victory then. The armies I have up there they're respectable armies. They don't have tons and tons of chevrons or anything like that. But just about everything in those armies is level 2 or elite units. So that was done. Now the other thing you're going to see here is I took that army and put it back. The reason for that is the units that ran away from that combat, I want to use the closer unit that hasn't moved yet to finish them off. That way I'll be able to get them back into Novgorod to heal up. Casualties were fairly substantial from that in the previous fight. Okay. Now you're going to basically see me trying to use some tactics to figure out what's the best way to have the AI create lots of armies in a rebellion. I would like for it to create 8+ armies each time, and then work my different armies against it and try and level up. And also keep in mind that what I'm doing here, the odds of you being able to do on an actual battlefield, you could do it. You might be able to get an army of all cav or an army of all artillery, and throughout the course of the game level it up. But it would be a challenge because you would be contending with every country on the board, and you would not have, be generating over 250,000 gold each turn. But remember, I'm just playing for fun, just to test game mechanics. I did build an army of rockets, which you're going to see me use a little bit in this particular episode, because in my experience with playing this game, if you have an army of rockets and you can attack a fort, typically the defenders of a fort do not assail forward and attack, which means that if you have rockets and you can use them against a fort, it's basically a turkey shoot. And I'm also trying different mixes here, like an army of cav with an army of artillery, as I fight the rebellion armies that are generated by the Ottoman Empire. And it's not, 2 of their armies can still beat 1 of mine. I'm not at the point where 1 of my armies is absolutely terrifying. And there can be no peace. The reason there can be no peace is if there is peace, then I cannot test the game mechanic. All the French armies are healed again. So let's see. Gonna bring the French down the gap again. Horse artillery is leveling up very nicely. Don't need a lot of armies to do what I'm about to do. 3 should be more than sufficient. Also trying to keep the armies in column on the road as best as possible. You can see they still have 4 armies left from the previous rebellion. So I still need to exercise some caution. If you're watching this, just keep in mind that I try to exercise the same battlefield tactics all the time. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Sometimes I'll go off the road. Sometimes I'll, wander into something I shouldn't. But right now, I just want you to keep that in mind as you're watching. Here comes the Army of Rockets. And we led with the Army of Rockets, but that was probably a mistake on my part. I should have probably attacked with the rockets instead of auto-resolved, because then they could have leveled up faster. Because that's the disadvantage of attacking on auto-resolve, is it distributes the casualties and the experience among all the units that are within range for the combat. Okay, we basically took their capital again. Now we're just going to basically retreat and go in, heal. Because we want them to rebel. That's what these episodes are all about. Using rebellions for your own benefit. Now, in my perfect world, this province is way too big to do what I would really enjoy doing in a rebellion. I would prefer to be doing this in a smaller province, where potentially I have on the outside of it maybe a adjacent province with a warehouse in it that can heal my troops very quickly. What you see me doing now is I'm putting as many armies into Rumelia as possible. The reason for that is there's something in the AI rebellion logic that runs some sort of calculation based upon the number of armies you have within the province to determine how many armies it's going to create. That logic does have some sort of a cap on it in terms of the maximum number of armies it's going to create for a rebellion. I wish it did not. It would make, doing something like this a little more interesting and challenging. Just the prospect of putting 20 armies in and having it generate 18 or 19 armies on the rebellion side could potentially crush anything that I could potentially do to quell the rebellion. But the AI has some kind of a built-in limit. So what you're seeing is me putting in, I'm going to guess there's probably 20 or 21 armies there in the province, which in theory I'm hoping is going to generate at least 8 full stacks of armies in rebellion. which will help me level up some of the troops. And I probably put them in there too soon. I should have waited until after the province rioted. Because if I put them in there too soon, there's always that chance that the AI is going to look at the number of armies I have and basically say, oh, you know, based upon the numbers I'm calculating, you know, we're not going to do a rebellion because you have 30 armies in here. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12 armies here. That makes it interesting. But it's still not 18 or 19 armies. Okay. Now we're going to slowly start working our way south towards the capital with our armies, fighting our way through. Don't know if I want to chase him. There's a lot of troops here to fight this time. I don't think I'll chase them. So we'll swing to the other side. They'll run away too. Typically, an army in rebellion will run if it's confronted by 3 armies. You just saw 3 examples of that. Alright, now we have all of our artillery there still. But, as is normal, I don't like having the enemy behind me, which they could have been. Took a lot of casualties, but, you know, still won the fight. That's a good army. That's why they won that fight. They outclassed the rebellion. Better artillery, better cav, better infantry. Send them back so they can heal. They did take a beating. So keep moving down the road here towards the enemy. You can tell the rocket army I have has no chevrons on it, so they're very inaccurate right now. But, you know, we need to level them up slowly. There's the dragoons, the horse artillery, different units. Slowly working their way up. The horse artillery seems to be the best in terms of leveling up, and I think that has something to do with them being artillery and cavalry in terms of speed. Just so you know, I'm not using any cheat codes here. I'm not doing any hacking of the code behind the scenes. You're more than welcome to play the game and try the same things I'm doing just to see if you get the same results. What you're seeing here right now is, you know, trial and error. Okay. Lancers. You would never find from the purposes of a game mechanic, if you were playing this from the beginning, you would never have an army of all Lancers. Lancers don't have, they just can't fight infantry and different types of cavalry, but as a support unit, like an entire army to support another army, they're very effective. A lot of armies to push through. A lot of armies to push through. I gotta be careful how I do this, because if I don't do this right, I'm gonna end up in a one-on-one or a 1-on-2 fight, which I'd have to retreat from. Okay. It's interesting that that other rebellion army didn't join in the fight. If it would have, it might have been enough to get me to turn around. You have to keep going down the road now and see how far we can get here without getting too close. If you hear a dog in the background, that's just my dog having company over. So we got a lot of French troops moving down the road. Looks like the Ottomans are moving down the road with them, but that's not the case. Okay. Here we go. The fights are starting now. Moving forward, forcing that fight. Lancers are now level 3s and level 4s. Which is very respectable. If you're enjoying what I would call me playing with the game here, click a like, and if you'd like to see additional content regarding this game, click subscribe, send me a comment, let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll do my best to do it for you. But what I'm doing here are things that I've always wanted to try in the game, just to see if they were possible. And, the rockets don't get any experience unless they happen to be the lead unit doing the attacking. Because you're not going to send the artillerymen into combat. It's just not common sense. Besides, they get their experience through fire, not through melee. Still moving the troops down the road. Notice I'm moving very, very slowly, maintaining column integrity and army integrity as I move down. This is going to be the problem, though. He's got four armies there, plus the one behind me. That's 5 armies. I got to be cautious here. Don't want to overextend anything. Now that army is basically, that lead army is basically finished off its movement. It has no other movement to use. So we're just bringing everybody else forward, an army at a time. Now what do we do? If I knew that the units behind the lead unit had enough movement, I would throw them all against Istanbul and force a large fight with my armies against his 4 armies. His 4 armies are probably just as good as my 7, if not potentially better. It says we're going to lose that fight. It's not something I really want to experiment with. So he had to retreat. Now there's Napoleon. And I retreated him also because I'm just moving too far forward. So we're going to try something different. We're going to attack their flanks first and work our way on them there. There we actually had time to deploy the rockets because they were in combat, so they were able to do some firing. Horse artillery is slowly leveling up. Dragoons, I want to get them up higher. Dragoons are really, really hard to level up in this. And I think part of that has to do with, well, I don't know what that has to do with. Alright, so we're continuing to move forward. Where's he going, and how did he get through without me fighting him? Makes no sense what just happened. Thank goodness I have other armies behind me to do the attacking and finish off his troops. hope you're enjoying the content you're seeing. Okay. Still the same turn, so I can't move them yet. So he has conceptually 3 armies that are able to fight at this point. Just going to move forward slowly again. And as you can tell, this is back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm not quite sure why it's so hard to level up actual armies during the actual campaign. I don't want to look at the code, or not the code, the math behind the scenes, because I could probably figure it out. And what I mean by that is I have a computer background, both coding and design. So we basically turned the flank. Bring that army down, have them finish off what's there, get a little bit of experience for them. They're going to have to go someplace else to heal now, though, because they don't have a general. This is where this is where I wish I was the Ottomans, because I would take all my armies and attack, and it would be really close as to whether or not I would win against what I have down there. A lot of different forces to fight. So do we attack him first, or do we go after the capital? The capital's not going anywhere. Try and do that fight. They're gonna run, but now they can't run anymore. Got a couple of 4s out of that. Got an infantry army down there for support. So as you can tell from the first episode to now, armies of solid troops can level up very, very slowly. Got experience for the rockets. No, that wasn't for the rockets. That was just showing what was in the army. Sorry about that. Okay, now we have to go and take the capital again, which is what we'll do now. I don't care about the trade route. Don't show me that. I know who you're trading with anyways. Okay. Starting to position troops to go back to, the northern province to heal. I don't need all of that to take that. This is just me doing a save just in case. Attacking with the rockets as the lead. I'm going to fight this battle because the rockets will get more experience. Only thing I have to be concerned about, because I have no infantry, no cav, is if any unit from there comes out and attacks. Like if they came out with 2 units of cav and they reached me with 1 unit, that 1 unit could probably roll up half, if not all, of the units of rockets in melee. It would be an absolute disaster. So I gotta be careful where I shoot and who I shoot at. As you can tell from looking at this fort is already taken a number. Beat up bad. And I was initially fooled when I saw this. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm in Istanbul. Why am I fighting the Austrians? I'm not fighting the Austrians. It's just that that's the color of the units that it uses for the rebellion. I accidentally hit a unit of cav. Oh boy, that's not good. I need to get a second round off. Oh, wow. That was almost a disaster. And I want to make sure that... Okay. I want to make sure that the card disappears, because if the card is still in existence, the unit can come back. So now, as you can tell, we've kicked the speed all the way up, and we are just going to use the rockets to bombard what's left of the opponents here. As you can tell from what's going on, this is because the AI isn't playing aggressively and attacking out of the fort. This is a foregone conclusion in terms of this battle. This is how I typically attack a fort. I use my artillery from long range, and I fire at the 2 corners of the fort initially to eliminate the fort's artillery. Then, based upon what kind of artillery I have, that determines what my next action will be. If I have rockets, I just sit at range and just continue to attack and destroy. Same thing with howitzers. If I unfortunately have 6, 8, or 12 pounders, typically, if you're attacking a fresh fort, it doesn't look like the corners on this one where there's a giant gap in the fort where you can fire in from there to the middle of the fort. Typically, when I'm attacking a fresh fort with like 12 pounders, you'll think me crazy for what I'm about to say, but I need to then take my 12 pounders, get them close to the main gate, and line them up in such a way that they can fire through an open main gate and have the cannonballs bounce in and kill whatever troops are in the center of the fort defending the flag. It's very, very time consuming, but it is effective. Keep in mind that when I fight in this, I have the battle timer turned off because I prefer it to be more realistic in terms of a fight. Real warfare, there is no timer on how long a battle is. So as you can tell here, I'm just cycling my way around, killing the different units within the fort. Some units take longer based upon their location within the fort. Are they against a wall? Are they not against a wall? Things like that. And you can tell, the number of casualties that the rockets inflict in a turn is variable. And part of that has to do with the horrible accuracy of these rockets right now. Something else I'm curious about is eventually if the armies I have, I can level them up high enough, can one army on its own beat a army that's level 3 across the board, you know, a rebellion army, one-on-one? I don't know yet. But it's something we'll get to and we'll try, hopefully. We continue to pound on that one unit in the back. What they're doing right now makes no sense. Why don't you go through the gap in the wall? Why are you going towards the gates? Makes no sense. Why would you go through this gap? Why wouldn't you go through the gap that you were closer to? Makes no sense. Now we're firing at the unit on the top of the wall. It says that they've broken, but they still have their cards. That one rallied. Now we're firing at the one against the back wall. That one says it's running. They've come off the wall. See if they're going to go out the gate. No, they were going that way, but they've changed direction now. Firing at the one on the other side again. It says that they're broken, but it doesn't really look like they are. As long as those unit cards stay up there, the unit can always rally. That one's gone. And that one's gone too. Alright, now we'll switch sides. Start firing on them on the other side. Unit of cav. That's the most dangerous thing to me. I'm not going to fire at the unit, I'm just going to fire close to it. Because the inaccuracy of rockets, they're long, they're short, they're right, they're left. It's pure chance as to whether or not a rocket actually hits the target you fire upon. So now we're firing on the artillery unit that's left there. Which is going to take some time. 3 guns, 11 guys, 2 guns, 11 guys. It's going down slow. Now, this is a very, it's not a slow fight, but I just want to give you an idea, what can happen with rockets here. I got 1 to level 2, 2 to level 2 already, 3 to level 2, which is a good thing. And typically in a fight, rockets don't take casualties to level up. It's strictly only the accuracy of them hitting things. Still a couple of units left. Now over there, that group of troops, I'm just going to fire near them because I don't need to fire at them to kill them. It's the advantage of rockets and artillery is it fires to the right, to the left, it falls short, it goes long. And as long as you're firing against a group or a line of troops, the only thing that you miss on is something that goes long. If you end up to the right, to the left, and it's a line of different units, you hit the one on the right or the one on the left, not the one you were targeting. Or you hit the one that you were targeting. So there's these 3, and then there's 1 unit of artillery still, which is going to be fairly easy to take out. So you can tell from, the tactics I'm employing here, more of the rockets have leveled up to level 2, and the game is basically said I've won. basically said that they can't win that fight at the fort. So if you look to see where we're at, just about every rocket made a level 2, a few exceptions, but that's good. And all the experience there went to the rockets. What you're hearing in the background, if you hear it, is the puppy barking at other dogs in the yard. Company. Now that we've taken that, now it would be time to leave the province again and basically force another rebellion to continue to level up the troops. Now I'm going to probably tell you I've probably attacked Istanbul 20 or 25, if not more times, just trying to level up the troops, and I'm still not at the point where I can level an army up to the top. It takes a very, very long time. But we will get there. I did figure something out, though. I did figure out an actual good use for the auto-save in Napoleon Total War. I don't know if this is by design or if it's just something that I find helpful, but occasionally computers crash. Occasionally they have memory issues. And when that happens, you don't want to lose your entire game. With the auto-save feature for each turn, it basically allows you to not go, back and replay hours, if not days of work in the game. What you're also seeing here is me doing a voiceover for this episode because the Napoleon Total War and my software crashed while I was recording this episode. It recorded, but when it crashed, my video file existed, but my audio file was gone. But because I had the autosave, all I needed to do was to basically do a voiceover for the episode. Just something for you to contemplate. Still moving out of the province. The Russians are occasionally trying some things, in the background. The workers are on strike again in Romelia. Path block, we have to get everybody out. Slowly moving the different armies out of there. Okay. It should rebel again. Okay, over here, looking at the Russian situation really quick. Looking over there with Russia, it's fine. I have a bunch of armies there, maybe with some generals. There's the next rebellion. Okay. Try not to make the same mistake I did last time. 1, 2, 3. I couldn't count that quickly. won't be as big a rebellion because I didn't have the opportunity to get armies in there to force a large rebellion. But we'll still make a run on it. Get that army off up to the top there. I'm not quite sure at what point the AI makes a determination that says, ooh, gee, your army of 4 and 5 chevrons is better than my army of 3 chevrons. I know it's not just the chevrons, it's what it is. It's artillery, it's cavalry, it's, you know, light infantry. Lancers got a 4 in there. Cuirassiers are moving up. Just takes time. So if I want to see my rockets leveling up, I'm going to have them doing the lead attacking from the artillery perspective. Other artillery can move onto the board and fire with the rockets. Once they're on the board, they're fixed. Excuse me. And they can't move on a board and set up. The game doesn't allow for that. Bringing the artilleries forward. Now, some of this artillery is very, very scary / frightening. Bring that army over to there. They can't get through because I'm blocking the bridge. Shoot. Oh well, I have to fix that. All right. Yeah, I could, instead of using the road, I could move one down the road, one on the right, one on the left, and get closer to a target quicker, but it's not good practice for this game. We'll kill this one, and then I'm gonna have to probably withdraw because they don't have enough armies this time. That is just a wonderful, wonderful army, isn't it? Level them up 3 or 4 more times. I'd be curious to see what the game mechanic thinks. Withdrawing at this point. Yeah, he went all the way around because I had the bridge blocked. Under siege over there. Good thing he doesn't have a general. So I don't think I have a general either. Good, they retook it. Can't afford to lose provinces against the Russians because they can do a lot of damage to me in the Russian provinces and cause me to divert what I'm trying to show you here. I'm gonna have to finish them off. The only reason that succeeded is that army is basically equal, if not slightly better, than the Russian army with its 3 chevron units. Okay, everybody's gonna leave now. Slowly but surely. And like I said, at some point here, the game is just going to, this episode is just going to end. And you won't see me basically closing down or saving. But the autosave did save. So still working through things. You know, from the perspective of the game being 5 years in actual time in terms of, you know, 18, 12, 13, 14, 15, that kind of a thing. It should be conceptually possible to create elite type units that are very, very, very high level. But I can't figure out how to do it aside from, you know, doing these kind of things. You know, it would be interesting if Napoleon Total War let you play as a minor country. That would be interesting. You know, like they do in, you know, their other one, Total War. I think I would enjoy playing as like Italy or Denmark or somebody like that. It would be interesting. No peace. You're being used. The Ottomans are being the Ottoman country is being used at this point to test game mechanics. So there can be no peace. To go again, attack again. Here we go again. I didn't put troops in again. I have to force it to. So we'll just take those 2 armies and go do this. It's a victory. Horse artillery doing very well. I like horse artillery. I don't like its range, but I like horse artillery. We can leave again. They're gonna have to go back and heal. Okay. Back and forth like a seesaw. Strike in Vermilia again. Hasn't rebelled yet. When they go on strike, that's when you should move your armies in to the rebelling province to increase the number of rebelling armies that the province will create to fight against you to help you level up your troops. That's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Four, 5 armies there. There's one in there already, so 6. Seven, 8. 12, 13, 14. No, it's 13. $14, 15, the two armies that are moving. $16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Roughly, I'm gonna have 20 armies in there when it rebels. 22. Or is it 21? It's one of the two, but... Can I call you back in a minute? Okay, thank you. Okay. Moving in with a number of armies, slowly. The Russians again, burning my resources in Russia. And there's the rebellion. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 armies. Run. Dragoons are all level 3. Horse artillery very, very high. Cuirassier starting to move up. Rockets, no conceptual change. No real changes there or there either. Okay. Just killed the one army, didn't kill both. Why don't they help each other in the rebellion? If I chase that army, it's just going to run away. And it's going to use my movement to do that. Fight that one. That's a victory. They got chewed up pretty good. Took about 25% casualties. That's high. Look at this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A lot of armies left. Another fight there. Dragoons haven't made it up to 4s yet. No change, no realistic change there, no realistic change there. I don't see any realistic change there either. That army's destroyed. Okay. Then you saw what I did. Instead of using the troops I'm going to use to move down the road, I used some of the peripheral armies I had to destroy that one. Yeah, retreat them out. Okay. Okay. I wish I could turn that into a 2-lane road. Make for movement much easier. Just continuing to fight. Working our way through. Got these Russian troops out here. We're going to have to finish them off. Okay. Don't want to get too far from our city. So we'll send him back. And we'll finish them off from the other side. Take that army. Bring them forward to finish them off. Okay. That looks like a whoops. I think I'm slightly off in towards of where I want to put them. I'll have to redo that. We're looking at here, nothing. Okay. And just for the fun of it, you know, the province of Wallachia, Bucharest, any casualty that I'm taking, they're basically being replenished from that province. So the game mechanic in terms of population to replenishment of, you know, dead soldier, yeah, I'm not quite sure how that works, but it doesn't make sense or doesn't add up to me. Slowly working our way through them again. And I'm constantly trying to show you how the armies are changing, if they're changing at all. Okay. Still got to work through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 armies here. Okay. I need to remember going forward that when I get into this position here, I can't advance one at a time. I have to advance in 2 columns coming down, because 2 columns can fight, 1 column has to retreat. It's just the way that it is in terms of the game. I really like the way that horse artillery levels up. It's not my favorite gun. I wish they had 12-pound horse artillery, but they don't. Okay. Move forward again. He's got 2 armies this time. He caught me there. 1 army against his 2. Why does it? Because it's all cav and he has artillery, that's why. That's why it did that to me. You can tell, just trying to be smart with the troops I have. Have the rockets do the actual attack so they can get some experience. All the rockets are now at level 2. Good. Cuirassier, most of them are at level 3 now. That's good. Continue on. We'll back out of the country, go heal, and repeat the process. The other thing I want to see is, once we get armies all the way to their max, how effective they are. Can one army fight one army and win with little casualties? Can it fight 2? Can it fight 3? Taking all of our armies out of Vermilion again, so that we don't accidentally get it to a point where it won't rebel. So every army that's in here needs to get out of the country. That way we can continuously get it to rebel and then put everybody back in with 20 armies, and the AI will generate 10 or 11 armies for it to rebel against. Slowly but surely, just moving everybody out again. Just takes time. This episode's about to end. Keep in mind that the reason it's about to end so abruptly is that my computer crashed. I'm just doing some editing now so that you know it's about to end. Click like, click subscribe, send comments if you want to see me do something. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Bye.